Sometimes we get asked the question, what is the ideal Lemons car?
I must know.
Well, there probably isn't a single answer, but general criteria you're looking for: cheap, easy to work on, car that probably nobody wants and wants to get rid of, and is maybe a little bit hilarious just to fit in with the vibe of the series. What car could check all of those boxes?
The Chrysler PT Cruiser.
Dang it. Back in 2003, a Colorado-based team called the Mile High Pistons decided, we're going to do lemons. There's a race at HPR right near us. We're going to get ourselves a PT Cruiser. So they started shopping, and sure enough, there are cheap running PT Cruisers everywhere. Nobody wants these things. And according to their team captain, does any car have a more visceral reaction from car people than a PT Cruiser? So they knew that's what they wanted. They had so many to choose from, they actually had to narrow it down, and the one they picked was spray painted matte black, including overspray on the windows and the lights. They knew this is our car. Just to keep their options open, they did look at some other non-PT Cruiser type cars, and they actually calculated the power to weight ratio of the PT Cruiser and the other candidates, and the PT Cruiser was the winner by 0.5%. So the overspray matte black PT Cruiser was theirs. Now by this point, they actually had kind of run out of time to run at HPR, but they said, hey, no problem, we'll just tow to Sonoma. Let this be a lesson to all of you Lemons racers who are waiting for that perfect event that's right next door. You can always load up the truck and take a road trip to the next nearest Lemons race. So they show up at Sonoma. This is a stock 2001 PT Cruiser, 2.44 cylinder, factory 5-speed, that's a bonus. It's got some lowering springs, stock brakes with AutoZone high performance pads, some 16-inch wheels from a Subaru. That's kind of it. And when they arrived at Sonoma, they were like, okay, we're gonna keep this totally simple. We're gonna try to just make it to the finish. Well, that went sideways pretty quickly when they immediately blew a head gasket. They stayed up overnight. They didn't have a lot of experience doing this kind of thing, so they had like YouTube open, PDFs from the internet telling them how to change a head gasket on a PT Cruiser. They did it, got back out on track, immediately blew another head gasket, which got them the I Got Screwed award. So they go back to Colorado and they decide, let's not fix this motor. Let's just get a replacement motor. And while we're getting a replacement motor, let's get an entire parts car. They knew from their previous experience that PT Cruisers are everywhere and nobody wants them, so they picked up another 04 PT Cruiser, swapped that motor into their 01, and were ready for the next race. And it so happens that the next race on the schedule was the full 24-hour race at HPR, which has become a yearly tradition, and they figured, well, we did 20 laps at Sonoma, what's stopping us from doing 24 hours at HPR? And plus, one of their teammates had never driven a stick shift before, so they taught him real quick in the parking lot and then set him off on this 24-hour endurance race. And wouldn't you know it, they successfully completed the entire 24 hours, doing 380 laps, which is a lot more than the 20 they did at Sonoma, and it was a huge success. Their next race was back at Sonoma in 2024 to try to exorcise the demons of their I Got Screwed performance from a year before, and at this point they've themed up the PT Cruiser in a full Overland motif. They're from Colorado. The PT Cruiser is kind of a light truck, so they added a rooftop tent, they added a topographical map on the side, they've got some of those recovery traction board things, full Overland Instagram deal. Car looked amazing. And the other thing that happened at this Sonoma race was that other teams discovered the magic of the PT Cruiser as a Lemons car. So there was
not one, not two,
but 3 PT Cruisers competing in this event. In addition to the Mile High Pistons Overland PT Cruiser, you had the Donut Pass Me PT Cruiser and the Sequel Injection PT Cruiser, aka the PT3 RS. Now, some of you may know, Lemons founder Jay Lamb and myself used to be the editorial staff of PT Cruiser Quarterly magazine, so with this plethora of PT Cruisers on site, we created an award specifically for the PT Cruiser that completed the most laps, called the Cruiser Quarterly American Cruisin' USA Award. And the winner in this highly competitive field was our friends from Colorado, the Mile High Pistons, the 01 Overland PT Cruiser. After this triumph, we asked them, how are you going to stay on top of your game with all of the people now gunning for you? And they said, we got to get rid of these rear drum brakes. That's it.
That's it? That's it? That's what?
Obviously, there are a lot of things to consider when choosing a Lemons car, so we've always said there's no such thing as a single ideal Lemons car for everyone. Or is there?
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?